Hey, Kenny, hope you're doing well, buddy.
I appreciate it.
My question is
Well,
about true freshman quarterbacks. You coached one last year at Auburn, and you have two on this roster. When in the evolution of fall camp, can you tell when they start to get it, or when they get it well enough that they can lead a football team? What is that transition like from high school to college, and when can you tell when they're starting to get it?
I think every person's different. I don't think you can say all true freshman quarterbacks are the same. Everybody comes from a different background. So some people may show up more ready than others because of who coached them in high school, right? Or what their experiences were. Some guys may get into this program and accelerate quicker because they're learning more. And it just makes more sense, and football just happens faster. So I don't think there's a specific answer to that question. I think the key for them is to just get better every day. And those guys that continue to get better every day and carry themselves, I think that's the key for a true freshman quarterback is if you want to be the guy, you got to carry yourself like the guy. And that's a huge aspect of it is demanding the respect of your teammates, not through being vocal, but just coming to work every day to be the very best they can be. And players see that, and that's what we're looking for.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Doing well myself.
Doing well. A question about the running back group. None of the running backs on the roster were on the roster last year, or scholarship running backs at least. How much more difficult does that make your job as the offense coordinator since those guys are all basically new? And I know it's a new system, but only one of them has experience at Division I level.
I'm not really worried about what has happened in the past. I'm worried about what we have right now. So I don't even look at it like that at all. Somebody told me that stat the other day, and it didn't even – I've never even processed that. We just go about the day with the guys we got, and I think we have a talented group. And being a new system, we got to make sure that, number one, our kids know how to execute what we call. It doesn't matter what we draw up. It doesn't matter what we want to do. If our guys don't know how to execute that at a high level, then regardless of what we call it, it's not good. So I think that's the key for us is finding the balance as a football team, finding a balance as an offense of what can we execute at a high level, and the amount of effort we give is at the best in the country.
Yeah, Kenny, thanks. I appreciate this. When you look at the quarterback position, obviously the challenge of not being to have these guys in the room with you without being virtual, what has that been like, and what do you expect to see from these guys when you guys get on the field tomorrow?
I'm excited to see him throw. I've seen him throw 3 days, and I haven't even seen him all throw. So I'm just excited to get back out there and play football. Walkthroughs, virtual meetings, all of it sounds great. We can stand up there, and I feel good about our guys standing up and teaching a lot of the offense. But at the end of the day, all right, I'm a coach because I can teach. I didn't play because I couldn't do. And a lot of those guys, it doesn't matter what they can teach. I want them to now do it. I want to be able to see them do it and see them execute it on the football field. So I'm excited to see them throw. I'm excited to see them take what they know and what they can teach and explain and be able to react and make those game day or game-like decisions on the practice field.
Hey, Coach, what that enhanced walkthrough time, that week or two that you guys have been able to do walkthroughs, how much did that do for you in terms of giving you some confidence that the players have an idea of what they're going to do when they go into camp after missing all that spring?
I think it's great. The number one thing I think we missed with spring ball when you're a new staff and a new system is the communication aspect. I think that goes underrated is just communicating. O-line talking to quarterbacks, right? Running backs and O-line talking protections at the line of scrimmage, all getting the signal from the sideline. All those things that you can't simulate, on a Zoom meeting or are very difficult. We got to walk through it, and we got our guys to communicate. And I'm pleased with how they went, and I'm just excited once again to start practicing.
Hey, Kenny, how's it going?
It's going great. How about yourself?
I'm good, thanks. So I understand that you guys only got 3 practices to watch the quarterbacks, and obviously Chuba, you haven't gotten to see throw yet in person. But can just from what you do know of the quarterback room, can you talk about the skill set of the group, and I guess the diversity? Seems like you have guys that can do different things at different levels.
I think it's a really talented group. I think we got guys who obviously, some guys have experience. Some guys have experience playing in games, maybe not as a full-time starter, but they have experience being on the football field in meaningful minutes. And some guys are true freshmen, so the experience level's kind of all over the place in that room. But from a skill set standpoint, they're all a little different, but they all have a good amount of athleticism. Some more than others, but they can all move. They're all going to be able to extend plays, and those are things. Obviously, when you're a new staff and in this system, really any system in football, when you have a guy who can, take a bad play and turn it into a positive, that's good. So I like the skill set. I think everybody's got the ability needed. I think they've done a really good job preparing themselves this offseason with the cards they were dealt, having to be on Zoom. Now it's just time for those guys to go and execute and show they can do that at a high level.
Hey, Kenny. Coach Norvell was saying a minute ago that you guys will probably do less kind of team and group drills given the circumstances. What are the kind of challenges that presents to you as a coach and as a teacher?
So, sorry, I couldn't hear the beginning of that question. I apologize.
Sure. Coach Norvell was saying that you guys will probably do kind of less full team and group drills given the circumstances. So what are the challenges that presents to you as a coach and as a teacher?
Well, I think that's just because we want to focus on the detail. I mean, when you lose spring ball is that period of time where you can eval, but more importantly, you can focus on the fundamentals of the game. You can focus on taking your first step. You can focus on getting in a perfect stance. You can focus on the split or your alignment you're supposed to have on this play, or how we're supposed to ID this front, right? So I think when you lose that, us not being in as much team, one, is going to help our guys. But two, the more important part with it is we get to focus more on the details and the fundamentals of the game. And at the end of the day, that's where football games are won and lost. So I'm excited for the fact that we get to have more individual time, more small group time, and we get to focus on the details of each position.
Hey, Coach. I hope it all's well. I got a quick question on your offensive line. Obviously, you guys are doing a little bit of shuffling in the 3 days of spring that you had, but how critical is it to establish that starting unit or starting 5 or 7 guys as quickly as you can, given the fact that you're going to go up against a defensive-minded head coach like Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech, and then your third game is against Miami, and obviously they have a talented defense?
I mean, for us, it's every position. I mean, it's a coaching cliche, but we're always competing, so I'm never going to put we need to have our starting 5 here. We need to have it here. It's not about that. It's about what guys can help us. If we have 13 offensive linemen that can rotate and help us because they're all good enough, well, that's awesome, right? Now, our goal is we want to be able to have 7 or 8 guys, that we feel really, really, really comfortable with. But to say we want to solidify who that group is, I don't think that's fair to the competition. Losing spring ball, I think the competition, which, goes all year, I think it's going to be more than ever. I think you're going to see more roster change or more roster and depth chart movements nationally, but specifically with us in the new staff, because we lost that spring ball. So this fall camp, we're kind of catching up and we're getting to know players and we're getting to, find what pieces, fit in what spot offensively. So I think our O-line's done a really good job preparing this offseason. I think Coach Atkins has done a phenomenal job being creative on Zoom, which I think that was part of the battle to keep those guys engaged. I think Coach Atkins has done a phenomenal job with that.
Hey, Coach, obviously it's probably a weird year for a true freshman kind of getting acclimated. How important do you think kind of starting with the individualized, maybe less team stuff helps with them acclimating? And really, is it within those first couple of days where you can kind of tell which true freshmen are going to be able to help you right away?
I don't think you can find that in the first couple of days because those guys are trying to figure out which direction we're going to run for the next period. I mean, they're those first couple of days, actually, I think you find the least out about them because they're trying to figure out everything other than just football. Where do I warm up? How do we warm up? Which direction do I go for this period? Right? So there's so many other things that are on their plate early. I think it's more, a week or two into camp is when those guys, when they start to get comfortable, how quickly can they adapt to that situation? So I'm like I said, we don't know much all I know is they've done a great job up to this point, preparing themselves. And obviously it's a weird year to be a freshman that shows up in the summer, just not being in the physical classes and all those dynamics. And I think our guys have done the best they can do with the circumstance.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well.
I like that jersey in the background.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Another quarterback question for you. And you've been with Coach Norvell before when guys have had to decide on a starting quarterback. And this season, you've got to decide between four. I don't know if you've been in that situation before, but I guess, what is the process? What is the back and forth between you two into making that decision? And then how much more difficult is that, the fact that you are going to have to decide between four guys instead of maybe just two?
We had the exact same situation our third year at Memphis. Yep, our third year at Memphis, we had the exact same situation. We had four guys coming in. We had a new guy coming in from a different university at the same time. So I think every year you compete, and we're just going to have to do a great job balancing the reps. And how that works is if you have a better practice than the other person, you're going to get more reps the next day. And every day is going to be graded. Everything is going to be graded. On the field, off the field, in the classroom. Everything you do at the quarterback position is graded. And that's going to determine who gets reps. And your reps are going to determine who gets more reps. And me and Coach Norvell, we're on the same page. That's never been an issue for us, and it's never going to be an issue. Whether it's calling plays, whether it's what we believe is necessary to be successful at the quarterback position, we see completely eye to eye and all that. And we just got to constantly communicate on what we both see and move from there. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.